Hello class and good afternoon, and we meet again in this class of spatial assessment with this new technology is using the recording, video recording to explain some slides. And today we will learn about the utilization of spatial planning. Okay, let me prepare the material. Okay, and you can repeat this session also. Okay. Okay, so this is our third lecture, I think. And some of the material I already upload in the Google Classroom. Yeah. So you can download it also. Okay. Yeah, and our topic today is about the utilizations of spatial arrangement, which is actually it's a lot of utilization. Yeah. Banyak pemanfaatan. I will use the mixed language ya. Banyak pemanfaatan ya. We have many utilization. Utilization means the function. Yeah. The function that bring benefit of spatial arrangement. Yeah. So the first is, maybe we will discuss only two subtopic, but I think there are a lot more example of this, So we will discuss today about the sustainable development, this is utilization of spatial arrangement in sustainable development, and also utilization of spatial arrangement towards climate change that probably one of our main issue right now. Yeah, beside the virus and the COVID virus and something, and we have climate change issues and many more actually. So maybe in the next time we can discuss. Okay. Okay. So the first one I want to share with you is the integrated spatial planning. Sorry. Okay. The integrated spatial planning. What I mean in this slide is what is integrated. Integrated is integration, become one. Like if you recall our last session, I said to you that in spatial planning we should have a or unified spatial planning. Yeah, of course, yeah. And then sorry, I will try to put the spotlight on. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So integrated spatial planning, we have to make union of spatial planning, so that we have one goal. We can go to our goal and finish the goal using the planning. So planning for sustainable utilization of our surroundings or space, involves establishing a framework for land use. This is the one I want to share with you. Land use planning actually. Land use protection atau land protection. Ya, in Indonesia, in bahasa Indonesia, daerah-daerah yang menjadi kawasan konservasi, kawasan lindung, jembatan pantai, jembatan sungai, kawasan di Taman Nasional, and many more example. Also, spatial planning have the role of enhancement in nature and environment. The location of future residential and industrial areas, or location and type of large investment project, also we need to plan. You can imagine if you plan residential inside an industrial areas. Wow, you can imagine the negative effect or the slum. I don't know what the name of. Probably the slum or in bahasa akan muncul kekacauan, kekumuhan, atau mungkin jika kita meletakkan kawasan penduduk, kawasan tempat tinggal residential area dalam kawasan industri atau berdampingan, tentunya efeknya akan berefek buruk. Ya, we will have any bad effect. And location and type of large investment project that should cope with the environment. So spatial planning, as we know, needs to also plan the natural resource, yeah, the alam, yeah. Also need to plan the natural hazard potential that we should make sure that what we plan is safe enough, yeah, aman. Yeah. Demand, this is reality, yeah. Demand for land, yeah, for various uses like economic, agriculture, houses, etc. Yeah. Also, scarcity of suitable land, and I think the scarcity of suitable land will bring, yeah, that now, yeah, the usage of land is increasing due to the many people who like to, like for example, use some lands to build residential area, to build up area, office, town, city, yeah. So eventually it will become scarce atau langka, in bahasa Indonesia scarcity, ya, kelangkaan dari lahan yang suitable atau yang dapat dibangun, lama-lama akan langka. Jadi kita butuh perencanaan yang baik, integrated spatial planning. If we set the integrated spatial planning, then we have to look for several aspects. The first one is ecosystem based, yeah, environment based, yeah, important thing, yeah. The second one is the space itself, the spatial, the arrangement, yeah. The system also needs to be installed, yeah. In bahasa, jaringan-jaringan pendukung. Kita punya space, kita punya yang dibangun, tapi jaringan pendukungnya tidak ada. Contoh air minum, ya, dan sebagainya. Dan this last one is integrated. All of this must be integrated. I already give example what will happen if we don't have a proper plan. Yeah. Sometimes we build something, and in the next year we have to pull it over and put some other things and continuously, ya. Jadi ini bahasa ya, berulang-ulang. Contohnya ya, kita membuat drainase, bongkar. Nanti muncul lagi, bongkar lagi, bikin jalan, perbaikan jalan, bongkar lagi. Membuat yang lain apa lagi ya? Misalnya jaringan fiber optik, bongkar lagi. Wah, ini jadi sangat ini ya, berulang kali dan costly. Ya, costly, time costly juga. Yeah. And if we look for the scope, scale of the spatial planning, we can, yeah, usually what we need to plan is in the scope of district or province or city. Yeah. So in the integration of spatial planning, we should, yeah, we should put or contain the strategy of development with implementing measures. Or in bahasa, I will explain, kita harus punya tolak ukur yang kuat, tolak ukur yang sangat, ya, yang sangat bisa diimplementasikan, tolak ukur yang memang dapat kita laksanakan. Dan goalnya juga jelas. Oleh karena itu, we need to form some type of regulation, undang-undang. Nah, nanti kita akan mempelajari ya in the next meetings. Zoning, zona, apa saja itu juga in the next ya. Incentive, for example, if you strict to the plan or to the national plan, you build with like the procedure, ya. Yeah, you build something and you follow the procedure, you will get incentive, like bonus, like incentive, like probably free of taxes for several months or something, yeah. Construction and project, yeah, also we need to put in the planning. Designed specifically to promote, this is the important, to promote the desired development. And or second one is to avoid and move away from undesired development. To promote the desired development, to promote the desired development, and to avoid the undesired development. Kita mendukung yang kita inginkan, arah pembangunan ke arah mana, dan juga untuk avoid, untuk mencegah hal-hal yang tidak diinginkan dalam pembangunan. One tools in the integrated spatial planning is, this is related to GIS. I think you have the GIS or Geographic Information System letter in the curriculum. The part is we need to have a thematic planning, and usually we put this in the maps. Why maps? So that we can easily follow it. We can see the map. Like this, for example, like the map in the picture below. Which have a color, which its color indicate several zones. For example, it is Yogyakarta maps, and you have the color here. Every color, this is small, but I will just give example. Every color will give you the information that, like for example, the polar ruang map, the spatial pattern map. We use this for probably the built-up area, the city here, the protection zone here, the car zone here, the agricultural zone here, and so on. So, we can implement the strategy, the spatial strategy, and to implementing measures which visualize using maps. In bahasa, peta ini bisa membantu kita memvisualisasikan strategi dan hitungan-hitungan, ukuran-ukuran. Planning maps will show protected areas, sensitive and probably valuable natural and cultural assets, land use zoning for industry, agriculture, residential, forestry, and infrastructure development project, and any other development that is preferred or not preferred, or allowed or not allowed. So the maps will show the information. Which areas you have to protect, which areas you have to build the industry, which areas have to be agriculture to support the food, the food needs. Where we can build the residential, daerah permukiman, the forestry, and so on. Jadi semua in bahasa jadi semua tempat ini, semua zona ini harus dimapkan supaya nanti begitu kita bangun ini tidak akan bertumpuk-tumpuk. Makanya ada IMB, izin mendirikan bangunan. Dia punya IMB setelah benar-benar cocok dengan peruntukan lahannya. Itu akan kita jelaskan di next season nanti next session. Okay. So now about back to the course. One of the most famous now goals is that sustainable development goals. Right now it's still going ongoing with the several goals, and I think we can achieve it by using the spatial planning. We can achieve it. For example, integrated spatial planning has a special potential to integrate, the keyword is integrate, 3 interdependent dimensions of sustainable development. First is economic, social, and environment, and act as a coordinating instrument across sector of interest and policies. So, it is the coordinating tools. Spatial planning, I will explain in bahasa, tata ruang, itu menjadi satu instrumen untuk diacu oleh berbagai sektor dan kebijakan. termasuk untuk kita ya melihat secara ekonomi, melihat secara sosial dan environment ini bagaimana berbagai dimensi ini kita masukkan dalam satu wadah yang sama dan kita tata sedemikian rupa. That is the spatial planning. The second is spatial planning can be a valuable tool to support the sustainable development by basing the plans, measures, and intervention on key sustainable principles. Jadi, in bahasa ya, we can measure, kita bisa mengukur ya, dan kita bisa mencari dukungan-dukungan ya. Jadi, kita lihat rencananya, kita ukur, dan kita lihat harus apa ya, langkah apa yang harus kita lakukan untuk mensupport sustainable development atau pembangunan berkelanjutan. Artinya pembangunan berkelanjutan kita harus melihat di masa mendatang. Ya, yang kita lakukan saat ini berpengaruh pada masa yang akan datang. Yeah, this is the basic regulation. Yeah, I think you can download it in internet. The regulation, yeah, number 26 ya, Undang-Undang Nomor 26 2007 about spatial planning. We still use it as a main regulation right now, yeah. According to this regulation, the objective of spatial planning is these three objectives. First is to ensure the harmony between natural and man-made environment. The second is to ensure the integration of natural resource usage, yeah, natural resource usage, and still consider the livelihood of people. Now, this is interesting, yeah. Natural resource usage and consider the livelihood of people. Not only use, but only consider the livelihood of people. The third one is to ensure the protection of spatial function and to prevent the negative impact of development. So we have to make sure by using this spatial planning, the spatial function is functioning, and the negative impact is, yeah, we can prevent it. Yeah. So that's the main three objectives of spatial planning. In the scope of province and urban, the planning also, according to the regulation, yeah, to ensure the integration development between province and the other province, or the national development inter-province, yeah, in the scope of province. The second is to ensure the integration of development between province and the surroundings and the inner area, yeah, in the province. And the third one is to ensure the quality of spatial planning of the city or urban area, yeah, especially the city. We need to have a good spatial planning so that the city will not become like a randomized city, yeah, with many problems, but we have a city that in bahasa Indonesia is tertata, memiliki fungsi yang baik, memiliki fungsi yang dapat menjamin pada kehidupan manusia di dalamnya. Yeah, that's the scope. Now, what about the climate change? So climate change issue, it's also related to the sustainable development, yeah. So the climate change issue is also can threaten the social, economic, and environmental development. So that's why in spatial planning, especially in Indonesia, yeah, especially in Indonesia, we have spatial planning document, first one, and it must be paired, perlu digabungkan with one document which called KLHS, Kajian Lingkungan Hidup Strategis. This one have to accompany this. So the planning must use the environmental study. It's also to scope, yeah, to cope the climate change. Yeah. Continue to develop and demonstrate integrated approach and mechanism for implementation of policies and strategies for sustainable development, green growth, and climate change mitigation and adaptation. As you can see, we can change the left picture, yeah, and the right picture, yeah. We can change this bare area, hot area, become this. Yeah. And as you can see right now, well, in the corona or COVID virus, this is like this, yeah. we have a plus, we have a good things here, because the pollution is decreasing in the city. Well, we have many negative things, but also one positive things actually. So like Earth is purifying itself. So how the spatial planning can cope to the climate change? Can give like menyumbangkan sesuatu ya, can give something ya to face the climate change. How is it? So we can identify, using the spatial planning, we can identify which area are suitable for forest and which area are suitable for example, water resource protection. Which area that can be used as the economic effect, or for example, in the forest, some forests we can use as the forest for economic ya. In the bahasa hutan budidaya, kita bisa tebang dan tanam lagi, tebang dan jual lalu tanam lagi. Tapi di sisi lain, ada juga hutan yang harus kita jaga. So we have two kind of two different types. One is for economic and one for the protection. Nah, spatial planning can give the separation between those two, while at the same time avoiding potential conflict with other economic interests. This is the role of spatial planning actually. Oh, I think in this part, in this time, you already think that, oh, spatial planning is really complex. Yeah, I think so. It's really complex. How? In the second role, the spatial planning can align the infrastructure and delineation of production areas, which areas can be used as a production areas, which can be used as urban development, or rural atau desa, rural planning and zoning. Also taking into account the energy efficiency and conservation, and avoiding potential conflict with other interests or threats from climate change. For example, flooding, for example, like the heat island, or the climate change with result of overheating in several cities. And the third one is we can identify the potential for energy efficiency in industry and buildings with the multiple purpose of reducing greenhouse emission, reducing air pollution, and conducting proper energy planning, and ensuring efficient use of technical and financial resource. Kalau kita bisa, Indasa, kalau kita bisa memplan semua ini, di mana resource yang bagus untuk energi, di mana kita akan alokasikan energi ini, berapa kebutuhannya, dilihat dari penggunaan masyarakatnya, kebutuhan kotanya, kita bisa merencanakan sejauh mana planning kita ini akan diarahkan, di mana sumber energinya, siapa yang memakai, dan outputnya apa. Outputnya misalnya ada limbah misalnya, di mana kita harus taruh limbah itu, where we should put the pollution. We can use the water purification, IPAL, or maybe we can use the air, reduce the air pollution with many technologies, and so on. So that's the several things I can share about the utilization. And and I think many other example you can also try to look in the internet, or you can try to look in the many other references. But the main things is you have to remember that the spatial planning that we built with the responsibility of the environment will bring sustainable development, will bring a good to the sustainable development. So that's why in every planning we have to make sure that we already assess the needs, we already count or measure the needs, we already measure the risk, the disaster also, the people and the needs itself, yeah. And we also have to prepare for the integration of those which involved in this. Yeah, so that's why the utilization needs to be done with several documents, several maps, with several tools, yeah, with several process or long process, yeah, so that we can utilize the planning that give a lot benefit to many aspects. So that's the materials, and if you have any questions, you can ask in the classroom, or we can discuss in the next session, or you can send me some chat or email also. Yeah, thank you very much, and we